Alright guys, I've been working at a steady pace. This is the fuel tank out of the 80 Regal, and surprisingly, if you can see that, it's still shiny in there and it still had fuel in it. It still looked gold. So I popped the sending unit out. It's still clean, it's not rusty. So I've actually got it out here seeing if the sun would get it hot enough to, evaporate some of that fuel that was left over. I tried sloshing it out of there, but I couldn't get it all out, But anyway, the build sheet for the car was up here. I don't remember where it was, but it was up here. It's folded over and it's stuck, so I'm going to spray it with water and try to separate it. When I did grab the paper off there was a giant fiddle back in there. It's like to scare the crap out of me because I don't like spiders. But you can kind of see up in there if that's showing up in the camera. But man, that tank is clean. I figured it'd just be rusted to hell, so that's pretty awesome. I don't have to buy a new gas tank. I'm just going to reuse this one. I'll put a new O-ring on it, and I've got a new GM sock for the sending unit. I will take the sending unit apart and clean the contacts real good. I usually do that when I pull them out, So here's the sending unit. It has little tabs right here. I use a little flat blade screwdriver, and I pop these tabs open a little bit, and then I pull this off, and I'll go in there and I'll use a brass little brush, and I'll clean the contacts real good, and some little emery cloth on the end of that contact for that slider that goes up and down. And then I'll fold the tab back over and put it back together. But I have fixed a few sending units that didn't work. But like I said, I got a new sock, and this thing is still pretty clean, so that's pretty cool. And the 80 Regal body is hoisted. Chassis out from under it. I just got done taking all the fuel and vapor lines off the chassis. I did run into an issue, but I think I've got it covered. I got a pretty good idea what I'm going to do. I actually tried to blow the fuel line out up here, and it blew out right there. You can kind of see the splatter of the goop right there. The fuel line was actually swelled up and split, so I'm assuming it got water in it and it froze. So anyway, Chevrolet and Buick, the stuff's on opposite sides of the chassis, so I have to have Buick stuff. Now, of course, I could go through and I could build a whole new fuel line, but I'd have to go buy some, and I don't want to do that, and they're not long enough. So it'd have to have a union in it, and I really don't want that. So what I've decided to do is the Century, it still had the fuel filter or fuel pump connected to it, and when I took the engine out, I took the little rubber hose off the fuel line and I capped it with a rubber hose so nothing can get down in it. So I know that fuel line's probably still good. The bad part is if I use the entire fuel line, I'd have to pull the Century body off the frame to get to the line because it runs up here and on top. I think that would be a son of a bitch to try to get out of the car underneath it, with the body still connected. So I think what I've decided to do, since my line is good from here back, I'll use the Regal's rear fuel line section. I think I'll build a bracket right here, and I'll put a metal fuel filter right here. And then that way I can go out to the Century and I'll cut it up in here somewhere, but I'll undo the lines from underneath the car and then slide the line out of its hole right there. I think that'd just be the easiest way to go. My Salon, I actually had put a fuel filter on it. Of course, it was on this side because it was Chevrolet. I just built it was actually a coil mount bracket from an old 60s Chevy car, and I used a Fram metal style fuel filter. It did have little sections of rubber hose on it that I clamped on, but I didn't really care, So that's exactly what I'll do here. It'll just be easier for me, because I really don't want to pull another body off, man. I'm telling you, my body's already hurting pretty bad. But I'm gonna have to go pull the rear end out of the Century to put it in this frame, because I won't be able to put this in my fenced area. I got to get out here on the grass, and this wheel dolly ain't gonna work. I actually ruined two of my wheel dollies having them underneath the back of the frame back here. It actually bent the shit out of them, and they're not even rolling good. I tried straightening them up, but they're just too jacked up now. You can kind of see where it's all tweaked it out. These are just cheap Harbor Freight ones, but man, it fried them. So anyway, this is pretty much how I slid the body out. I used two wheel casters in there with a board across and slid it out backwards. Yeah, I had to turn the car around by myself with no rear end in it, with wheel dollies on both sides, and that's what twisted those up and bent them, trying to turn the car around, because you need your high spot of your frame is too high, to pull out frontwards. It's easier to go out backwards. And there goes a freaking train again. I am so awesome at that, man. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the update video. I got the Monty around. I'm getting ready to go pull the body mounts out of it. I do have the spot welds drilled on the wiper mount on the firewall that goes right here. So I need to get the car up here, so because my air hose ain't long enough to reach out there. I'm gonna use my air hammer to separate it. But anyway, I'm gonna put that piece back on here, but I gotta weld these holes back up first. But anyway, I'm still working. Hopefully it doesn't rain me out.